My tech prediction for 2022 is that every Grand Tour will be won on disc brakes and no notable rim brake bikes will be released next year. Though the team issue Pinarello Dogma F was notable as one of the only road bikes released last year to still feature a rim brake option, Team Ineos made the official announcement in September that it would switch to discs for most events next year. This means that 2022 will be the first year that every World Tour team rides on disc brakes in some capacity. Unless there's a last-minute change of heart from one of the big teams, this means it's almost a certainty that every single Grand Tour will be won next year on disc brakes. In all honesty, this is hardly a seismic moment in the world of cycling tech. Notable, yes, but disc brakes have already proven themselves time and again. Comparing the merits and downsides of each at this stage is also tiresome at best. However, for rim brake aficionados such as myself, this definitely suggests that rim brake road bikes are going the way of the dodo. On the other hand, I expect availability of parts and wheel sets will continue for many years to come. After all, both SRAM Red ETAP AXS and the new Dura-Ace Groupset are available with rim brakes. But for top-end bikes, act soon.
Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing gravel bikes evolving into more than just the nebulous genre it's currently defined as. The trend towards gravel bikes as fast competitive machines is a good thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got nothing but respect for riders who want to load up their lives on their bike and head off into the wilds, and so need a bike with a multitude of fixtures and fittings. But frankly, that's not for me. There are too many great hotels, pubs and warm places to rest after a long day in the saddle, as opposed to crawling under a canvas pod. That means I like my gravel bikes to be stripped down, shorn of excess weight and built for fast fun. So I like that one strain of gravel has evolved into reflecting fast, lightweight bikes built for fun days out rather than transcontinental endeavours. The trend started by 3T and Cervelo now sees Specialized, Cannondale, Villiers and a few more besides on the way to join this emerging and evolving species of drop bar off-roader. Right now, when it comes to buying a gravel bike, the category is just so broad that it's confusing. It's like being asked to choose a road bike and being offered everything between a Trek Madone and a Dors Galaxy Tourer. Or for mountain bikers, it's like being asked your opinion on whether to buy a Trek Super Caliber as ridden by Yolanda Neff or Greg Minnaar's Santa Cruz V10. They simply aren't the same thing. I know subgenres in bikes can get a little overwhelming, but if one cycling discipline needs it, then it's most certainly gravel. A little extra trend I'm also looking forward to in 2022 is it finally providing all the things we were promised in 2021, when the bike industry finally catches up. Yes, I'm talking about you, 12-speed Ultegra Di2.
All I want for 2022 is to be able to use any tubeless tyre I want on my tubeless wheels. Okay, that and maybe some other things which the world could really do with right now, but let me go into more detail on this. If you've got a relatively new wheel set to take advantage of all the benefits of tubeless road tyres, then you might have noticed you are limited to a smaller range of tyres, as right now there's no guarantee they will all work. In some cases, the incompatibility means tyres are simply too tight to fit. In others, there's a risk of tyre blow-off, a dangerous scenario that could lead to real injuries or worse. I used a set of the new and very nice NV Foundation 45s on my Cannondale Synapse last year, and I was limited to a selection of tyres. NV has tested a pretty wide selection, to be honest, but should a wheel manufacturer have to test this if we had an international standard? This is a massive topic and far too big for this video, but if you want to be a real expert in road tubeless compatibility, then check the link in the description for the full article on our website. But here's the crux of the matter. So not too long ago, road rims used to be around 13 to 15 millimeters internally, and tyres larger than 25 millimeters were regarded with suspicion by those with even modest performance ambitions. The new crop of road tubeless wheels have internal widths from 18mm to a whopping 25mm, as seen on Zipp's 303 Firecrest. Check out Warren's Gear of the Year for more on that wheel set. Now that's pretty close to what you would have seen on mountain bikes not too long ago. Not only has this been a massive change, but it's also come about at a fierce pace. And I haven't even touched on hookless rims. It's come at such a pace that even current ETRTO European Tyre and Rim Technical Organisation, yep, that's a thing, is now out of step with some of the products on the market. This is also the case with the International Organisation for Standardisation, which is the global body key to setting these standards into stone. The only real solution to the current situation is a globally agreed standard covering both rims and tyres, and critically, how they interact. Okay, so my point isn't necessarily a trend, but more of a current trend establishing itself as a new standard. I just want to have all the options available to me without sacrificing safety for us, the riders. Let me know your thoughts on the matter in the comments.
Hi, my name is Stan Porters and I'm one of the digital writers here at BikeRadar. So my most anticipated tech trend of 2022 is electric bikes growing in popularity even more. This will probably annoy some of you in the comments section, but over the last few years we've seen e-bikes become more and more prevalent, with some of the biggest brands in cycling releasing motorised versions of their bikes. To put the growth of e-bikes into perspective, it was revealed earlier this year that battery-powered bikes now account for 17% of the European bike market, up from 4.2% in 2012. In fact, in 2020, the e-bike market was up 23% year on year. Now, of course, 2020 was a strange year and much of the cycling industry boomed. But if the e-bike trend continues, we can expect to see 10 million e-bikes sold per year by 2030. That's over 6 million more bikes per year than e-bike sales in 2019. If that seems out there, then consider this. Rad Power Bikes, said to be the largest e-bike company in North America, recently received a $154 million investment, and that followed hot on the heels of a $150 million investment in February 2021. Clearly, people are willing to invest a huge amount of money in this growing section of the bike market. But I think these investments tell us something else about how the electric bike market is set to expand. We've seen many high-end, gorgeous, money-no-object electric bikes being released. These include bikes such as the Cannondale Super 6 Evo Neo 2, Villia Tristina Cento 10 Hybrid, and the £10,000 specialised S-Works Turbo Creo SL. While there is certainly a growing market for these bikes, I think what the recent boom in electric bikes and investment in Rad Power bikes tells us is that we can expect to see the lower end of the electric bike market expand drastically. After all, affordable, less precious and generally more practical electric bikes will provide more people with an easy means to get around. Yes, electric bikes are changing how we ride out on the road and the trails, but I think we'll continue to see them grow as a mode of easy and accessible transportation.
2021 saw all three of the big Groupset makers add more sprockets to their road and gravel cassettes. SRAM bumped Rival up to 12-speed and gave it the access treatment. Shimano made its long-awaited move to 12-speed for Dura-Ace and Ultegra, while Campagnolo leapfrogged them both by introducing its 13-speed Ekar gravel Groupset. And yet my predicted tech trend for 2022 is going to be more of the same. I can see the cassettes on several Groupset tiers from at least two of those brands becoming more jam-packed than ever in 2022. And why shouldn't they be? There's been an argument that we don't need any more gears on road bikes for decades. Omri de Grange said that anything more than a fixed gear was cheating, the sadist. But if extra sprockets can be accommodated with no major disruptions to bike standards or drivetrain performance, bring them on, I say. You either get more gearing range with the same jumps in between, or smoother progression for the same range. So long as the sprockets are kept to a sensible size, there's no downside and no reason for it not to happen. As such, I really don't expect the accumulation of sprockets on cassettes to slow down in 2022. Why? Here's what I've deduced. With the release of Ekar, Campagnolo introduced its N3W 3-hub standard. The same spline pattern as the pre-existing one, but 4.4mm stubbier, so that a 9-tooth sprocket and a 10-tooth sprocket could project off the end of it within a standard 3-hub spacing. This opens up all sorts of gearing possibilities, and Campagnolo says it will base its future designs around the N3W standard. What's more, the Italian brand has been the first to incorporate an extra sprocket since 9-speed, and its current 12-speed group sets have been matched by both main competitors now. All evidence suggests that Road 13-speed will happen in 2022 for Campagnolo. It might traditionally take a while to act, but I don't think Shimano has done adding speeds to its group sets just yet either. But I'll leave that to my charismatic colleague, Simon von Bromley, to delve a bit deeper into. SRAM looks like it might buck my trend for 2022, but given that it is widely considered as the most forward-thinking of the three group set makers, I wouldn't rule out a surprise from them at some point either. I look forward to seeing how the year unfolds.
My most anticipated tech trend for 2022 is a new Shimano 105 group set. As Sam has already mentioned, this year saw Shimano finally announce and release the new 12-speed Dura-Ace and Ultegra Di2 group sets, and that's been lovely for those with loads of money to spend. But with that out of the way, what I'm most excited about now is the prospect of a new 105 group set in 2022. A new 105 group set has typically been announced around a year or so after the release of a new Ultegra group set, so I'm hopeful 2022 will be the year Shimano's great value workhorse road group set sees a similar refresh. What might we expect? Well, at the very least, I'd hope it makes the jump to 12 speed, but what I'd really love to see is a move to electronic shifting. SRAM has made huge strides in recent years by bringing its eTap wireless tech to lower and lower price points, and if Shimano wants to remain competitive in the cheaper end of the road bike market, I think it needs to pull something big out of its hat. Of course, like with SRAM rival eTap Axis, I'm sure a Shimano 105 Di2 group set would come with a weight penalty over its pricier siblings, but you know me, I don't really care about that. The ball is in your court, Shimano, so please don't let me down.
The trend I am most anticipating for 2022 is the trend towards wider tyres and bikes that have bigger clearances to accommodate them. On gravel bikes of old, tyres would generally come stocked with 35mm to 40mm tyres, but the most recent trend in gravel is for wider rubber. More and more modern frames are now offering clearances for up to 50mm tyres, with a new standard of between 40 to 45mm appearing on many new gravel bikes. In 2021, we saw new bike releases like the Canyon Grizzle come with 45mm tyres as stock, and even super racy bikes like the Willia Rave come with 42mm tyres out of the box. The popularity of wider tyres and the wider rims that come hand in hand with them means more frames and forks are being built with clearances to accommodate them, especially if you're expecting to ride in muddy terrain. As such, it's clear that in 2022 we're going to see more bikes offering cavernous clearances and wider rubber. The reason larger tyres have become so widespread is quite simple. Wider tyres offer more traction and more comfort. A larger contact area makes it grippier, and a higher volume gives you added squidge over the trail chatter. Wider tyres can give you extra comfort, reduce the chance of punctures, and in some cases, they even roll faster than narrower tyres. Having the ability to run wider tyres on your gravel bike allows you to go further and push the boundaries of your gravel bike a bit more, and it'll be interesting to see if 2022 is the year we'll see bigger tyres than ever.